Before everyone introduces themselves, I could not end my term as chair if I did not properly send my farewell address to my fellow council members. Although I wrote a formal letter for the journal, this speech is for me to personally express my appreciation to all the members on the council. I'm going to start crying. I'm sorry. Beginning in the summer, you trusted me to lead you as your chair, and together we have made huge accomplishments and strides in Atlanta Public Schools, really making a name and continuing the legacy of the Student Advisory Council. I would like to first thank my fellow E-Board, Vice Chair Peyton Hall, and Communications Chair Daisha Gibson, and of course our wonderful advisors, Mr. Keith Glass and Dr. Kyra CT, for supporting me and making sure SAC is well represented. Let's give them a round of applause. I can stand here and describe the impact each and every one of you have made on my life in less than a year, but we will be here forever. Each member has instilled in me something that I will not trade for the world. Considering everyone's different backgrounds and still being able to work well together truly shows the strength of the 23-24 Student Advisory Council. I mean, come on, Liam is from Germany. Together we all led a principal meeting, participated in the panel, and not to mention made true friendship with one another. Individually, I am so proud of the work each and every one of you do. Miss Thurl, Kyla Sewell, Miss Blue and Gold, Tamar Eccles, CTAE Business and Finance Student of the Year, DeMar Goodman, Liam and Kennedy, valedictorians, Denisha, Star Student, Herman, full ride to Duke University, Luke, Posse Scholar, Shatera, participating in the Go Team Summit panel. These are only a few of the great things you all have accomplished this school year, and those who I did not mention does not mean I don't see you. I see greatness and success in all of the red sweaters today. This year has been truly amazing, and you all will forever have a special place in my heart. Please help me in representing the 23-24 Student Advisory Council. We will now call, excuse me, I really, really love you all. I really do. We will now call the May 8th, 2024 council meeting to order. SAC members, please stand and individually introduce yourself. Name, school, position applicable. Ms. Gibson, will you please document attendance on the roll? I will start. Brooke Shelton, Washington High School, SAC Chair.
I'm Liam Smith, Maynard Jackson, Operations Ad Hoc Subcommittee Member.
Testing.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Peyton Hall. I attend Washington High School, and I'm an SAZ Vice Chair for this year.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Zachariah Artister. I attend Carver Early College, and I'm part of the school's ad hoc committee.
Good evening. My name is Kyla Sewell. I attend Thurl High School, and I'm a part of the schools committee.
Good evening. I'm Madison Walker. I attend Midtown High School, and I am the committee chair of the Ad Hoc Schools Committee.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Denisha Griggs. I attend Frederick Douglass High School, and I'm a part of the Equity and Social Justice Committee.
Good evening. I'm Anika Connie Jenkins. I am a senior at Coretta Scott King, and I'm a part of the Equity and Social Justice Committee.
Good evening. I'm Tanaya Lawrence. I'm a senior at Mays High School, and I'm a part of the Equity and Social Justice Committee.
Good evening. I am Kelsey Allen. I'm a senior at Maynard Jackson High School, and I'm also part of the Equity and Social Justice Ad Hoc Committee.
Good evening. I am DeMar Goodman, senior at South Atlanta High School, and I'm a member of the Equity and Social Justice Committee.
Good evening. I'm Liam Geisler Norsing. I'm a junior at Midtown High School, and I'm a part of the Equity and Social Justice Committee.
All right, we're going to pick back up over here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shatara Hightower, a senior at Coretta Scott King Young Women's Leadership Academy, and I'm the operations chair.
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Scott Jr., a senior at the Best Academy High School in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am a member of the Operations Committee.
Good evening, good evening, everybody. My name is Luke McCullough. I'm a senior at North Atlanta, and I'm on the Academics Committee.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamar Eccles. I am a senior at Benjamin E. Mays High School, and I am the Academics Committee Chair.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Iridian Ramos Santiago. I'm a junior at North Atlanta High School, and I am the Budget and Performance Committee Chair.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marquavius Clayton. I'm a senior at the Best Academy, and I'm a part of the Budget and Performance Committee.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deja Gibson. I am a junior at the South Atlanta High School, and I'm also the Communications Coordinator, and I'm part of the Budget Committee.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kennedy Upshaw. I am a senior at the one and only KIPP Atlanta Collegiate, and I am a part of the Budget and Performance Committee.
Okay, let's look at these agendas. Is there a motion to approve the May 8th, 2024 Student Advisory Council agenda? Is there a second? It was moved by Peyton, second by Luke. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, is there a motion to approve the 2024 Student Advisory Council meeting minutes? Is there a second? It was moved by Tanai, seconded by Kennedy. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? First, we would like to acknowledge any board members. Please stand if you are a board member. We would also like to acknowledge any SAC alumni. First, I will welcome Ms. Cynthia Briscoe Brown, Atlanta Board of Education, C8 at large, to bring greetings on behalf of the board chair, Erica Mitchell.
Good evening. I'm Cynthia Briscoe Brown. I know most of you, really all of you, over the past year, and I, on behalf of our board chair, Erica Mitchell, who is unfortunately ill tonight, and our board vice chair, Jennifer McDonald, and all of my colleagues, I want to thank you for your service for the past year to the Student Advisory Council and to the entire Atlanta Public Schools. You are amazing students. You inspire us, and this is one of the best things that the board has done in my almost 11 years on the board. When I'm old and in my rocking chair and somebody asks, what are the things you are proudest of? This will be one of them, because you give us a direct line to knowing what our students need. You are articulate, you are thoughtful, you are professional, you are respectful, and you advocate for yourselves and your peers across the district in a way that I really think is unique in the United States, in school systems in the United States. At those of you who will be moving on, we will look forward to seeing you on graduation day. And we hope that when you leave, you will take a little piece of us with you. Take the skills that you've learned here, your ability to analyze an issue, to gather data, to advocate, to use Robert's Rules of Order. Brooke, you did a real good job with that. That's an important skill. As you move into leadership, use those skills to move into leadership roles wherever your next step is. And for those of you that we get to have for another year, we are looking forward to having you for another year. So thank you again for all the work you've done. Know that as you go and take a little part of us, we keep a part of you as well. Know that we support you, we love you, we are here to help you, and if there is anything any of us can do, I hope you will call on us. Thank you.
Next, I would like to welcome Ms. Goodrum, Associate Superintendent, who will bring greetings on behalf of Dr. Battle.
Good evening. My name is Shelley Goodrum, and I serve as the Associate Superintendent for the Mays Cluster, Single Gender, Non-Traditional Programs, and Adult Education in Atlanta Public Schools. It is my absolute honor to address you today on behalf of our Superintendent, Dr. Danielle Battle. Dr. Battle deeply regrets that she is absent this evening tonight's program because engaging with you scholars is the highlight of her role. She values the opportunities to connect with our student leaders and hear directly from you, the voices of our community. And so scholars, as we approach the end of the semester, and for some of us, the close of the 23-24 school year as you move on, I want to take a moment to acknowledge our journey together. It's been a long road, filled with some challenges, but yet some triumphs. But what's important is that we made it. For some of you, it means graduation and walking across that stage, receiving your passport to go and change the world. For others, it's the start of a well-deserved summer break, preparing for your final trip around this wonderful journey that we call high school. And so therefore, on behalf of Dr. Battle and the Atlanta Public Schools leadership, I want to express our heartfelt gratitude for your leadership, your service on this council, and your role as the voice of your peers. Your willingness to lift your voices and advocate for your fellow students strengthens the bond between students and district officials. Scholars, you embody the very best of Atlanta Public Schools. And on tonight, you deserve to be celebrated for your dedication and your commitment. Your leadership has made a difference, and your voice matters. Have a wonderful round table and enjoy the celebration. Thank you.
You're supposed to be on the next slide. I'm just going to make this brief for everybody. This is the agenda of our purpose and goals of today. We're going to start by, of course, welcoming the luncheon, and then we're going to do the recommendations. Everybody's going to sit at the table. I'm just going to make it fast. We've got a long day. Everybody's going to sit at the table, work together for about 20 minutes. We're going to celebrate, highlight a couple people who have helped us this semester, or this school year, I apologize. And we're going to close out. So, we're going to bring up Peyton to talk about our next slide.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Peyton Hall again, for those who did not hear me the first time, I guess. So a little bit about SAC. SAC is made up of 28 delegates who represent 14 schools around APS. We have had 10 total meetings together throughout this school year. And basically what we do at these meetings is meet between each other and with our ad hoc committees and talk about recommendations that we see within our school and that we see that that were recommended last year and did not get.
Marquavius?
Hello, everyone. My name is Marquavius Clayton again. With the Student Advisory Council this year, we participated in many different events and activities together, including our Parent Schools meeting that we participate, I believe, every year. We're also able to connect with many different students from all over the cluster at our Student Leader Symposium, where students receive different workshops and things in order to improve their ways of being a leader. And we also participated in a community service project on Martin Luther King Day where we were able to give back to our community. There's just a few of the things we did this year. As you can see, there's a list of many more. But yeah, that's about it.
It says I hope we can watch it, but this is a highlight reel of the Student Leader Symposium that took place at ACCA. Yeah. Following the video will be Kyla, just in case the video doesn't show up. Well, I like to play a game every time I stand up here, the 5-finger challenge. 5 means you're having the best day. 1 means could have been a better day. So let me see everybody's hands. Couple 4s, couple 2. Dang, 1. Dang. Hopefully you're at the 5 by the end of today's event. I'm just trying to keep this okay, God, okay.
Student leadership symposium. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was an opportunity to bring all of our student leaders and emerging leaders from all of our high schools together and give them training on how to become effective leaders of tomorrow. And so it's our job as advisors and leading in this work to make sure that our students and our advisors are at the table to have the tools and the materials and resources that they need to be successful in this journey.
We hope that the students learned a lot today, ways that they can advocate in their schools, ways that they can advocate in their communities, learning to be civic individuals in the world, in society.
One major lesson I learned today is how people, go about different, meeting people and stuff like that. Even though people are not the same skin tone or the same height, weight, or anything like that, they are teaching people and kids how to come together and become a group, and be nice, and I like that. One thing that I was really looking forward to today was the navigating transition from high school to college, and that was my first session today. So I was really glad that I was able to participate and get some good advice. They talked about how to create good habits and schedules that pertain to us and who we are as people. So I'm a student athlete, so they were telling us how to break down our schedule so that we're able to do our work and still participate in our activities successfully.
I'm Danielle Battle, Interim Superintendent of Atlanta Public Schools, and I'm excited to be here with some of our high school students, our student leaders. An effective leader to me is a person that can lead others as well as follow. An effective leader also has the capability to promote change and empower others to make that positive change and to get people to follow along in that vision.
Our schools have a lot of needs, and sometimes we get stuck as to where we can go or who we can talk to get our needs heard. And I was able to learn about who I could talk to, the meetings that I could go to, the people that I could be having constant communication with about our issues that we needed to discuss.
Yeah, so the 10 Commandments is ensuring that students understand that they need to respect leadership, understand the policies and regulations, that they plan with and not for their student body, that they remember their purpose and keep it as their focus. We also push them to have fun, right? No one wants an uptight leader in the process of leading them into places. And so have fun while you're doing it. Tell the story, overly communicate. We also have the golden rule in there. Treat others the way you wish to be treated. That's leadership, that's organizing, and that's how we get people to buy into what it is that we're doing around leadership, and student voice.
Your voice matters. As a student, I always remember that your voice matters. So no matter what, speak up, because there is somebody that is going to listen.
My name is Bame Joyner. I'm co-founder of Atlanta Influences Everything. People care about young people. Let's be clear. People care about things. But there's a bunch of young people to choose from. What makes them say, well, I'm gonna focus on APS? That's what I'm saying. It's not that people don't care about young people, they do. what makes them focus on APS. We have to make them care. Nobody's gonna love you more than you love yourself. And so that's what, other than that, the sky is the limit, and like Nipsey said, the marathon continues. So like, that's positive, you know what I'm saying? So there's an amazing opportunity. You just gotta, we, us, gotta take the first step into the opportunity.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Kyla Sewell, and I will be talking about one of my favorite events of APS, and that is Breakfast with the Board. Okay, so basically, oh, okay. Caught me on a bad day. There we go. Okay. There it is. Okay. Okay, so basically, I've been doing Breakfast with Board since I was in 10th grade, so I really love this event. And basically, it's an initiative that allows students of all backgrounds to basically just have opportunity to talk to the board members. It's a roundtable conversation. It's not strict, it's just to allow students to vent and be able to feel like they have a voice and voice their concerns about the district and their schools. We've had events this year and years before across all high schools in the district. This year we had 400 participants and we had 120 plus post-survey responses and feedback, which is really good. So that's Breakfast with the Board.
My name is Kevin Scott Jr., 12th grader at the Best Academy.
My name is Anika Carney Jenkins, a 12th grader at CSK.
My name is Marquavius Clayton, a 12th grader at the Best.
My name is Kevin Scott Jr., 12th grader at
I am
the
a
Best
junior
Academy.
and I serve on the
The best speaker on SAC, DeMar Goodman.
Put simply, our students love Breakfast with the Board. They love talking to our board members about what they love and what they don't particularly care for. So here we have a couple of recommendations from our students, one of which is to broaden academic opportunities. If one thing is very clear, our students love learning. Our students love learning about new things. Our students love learning about new opportunities. So if we broaden their expansions in these new academic fields, we can broaden their experience here in APS. Additionally, student mental health is important. It's important in Atlanta, it's important in Georgia, it's important in the United States of America. APS has done very well with emphasizing the importance of mental health in our students with programs such as Hazel Health and so many other programs. However, our students do feel like they need just a bit more emphasis. So therefore, that's a lot of the concerns they brought up in our meetings. Lastly, inclusive student and parent input. Students and parents go hand in hand as much as our teachers and our communities. So in having this link between our board, our district, and our students and parents will foster long-lasting, impactful situations in our district. Thank you. Hey again. So as you can see, we also have a lot of feedback that come from these breakfast boards. Continuing on, improving student academic support, integrating effective conflict resolution and turnaround strategies in our disciplinary interactions. Additionally, increasing extracurricular activities. Now this also goes hand in hand with increasing our academic opportunities. Clubs such as FBLA, HOSA, DECA, so many other programs are being emphasized to our students to take in trades, more academic skills, and certifications. Our students love these programs, and we would like to see them expanded. Additionally, enrollment solutions, improving marketing of programs. APS, I always say that APS has as much as we could possibly need, but we don't really know about them. So allowing our students to have a more effective way of disseminating this information. And allowing us to stay connected will help us promote these programs more and get more students enrolled in them. Additionally, facilities improvements. Our buildings are, of course, some of the best in Atlanta. However, there is always room for improvement. There's always room for expansion, and there's always room for growth. A healthy learning environment is a good learning environment. Lastly, food and nutrition. So as most of you probably already know, APS is already in the process of switching our nutrition right now. So I'd like to give APS a hand for being proactive in this situation.
I told you, the best speaker. Next, we're going to have up Kevin and Luke to just talk about some of the data about Breakfast with the Board.
Good evening once again. I'm Luke.
Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Scott Jr.
And we're just here to kind of go over some of the statistics with Breakfast on the Board. As Damar said, the students love Breakfast with the Board. As you can see, with about 70% being excellent, most of it being very good, and some people saying good and fair. Obviously, our goal for next year will to have everybody in that excellent, but some are more critical than others.
All right, so the first question was, how would you rate the event? Me personally, in my opinion, I would say this was my first Breakfast with the Board, and I would say it was a great event. I heard some great things happening at Washington, North Atlanta, and other schools at Best and CSK. It was a lot of questions, a lot of new questions. A lot of the board members that were there said that it was some questions that they have not heard before, so that was a great way to make progress with this Breakfast with the Board.
And then we have the organization. We have 45% saying it was extremely organized, and then mostly everyone else saying it was very organized. Small percentage under there saying somewhat, but that's about 80% satisfaction with the organization of the event. And so us being SAC, being in charge of mostly organizing that with the SGA, that's something we like to see. Obviously, like I just said, we want 100% being excellent, but some are more critical than others.
The next one was, do you feel that your voice was valued and heard today? Now, before I move to this one, can everybody give themselves a round of applause? Because the fact that we got that in 100% or 90%, that's a great thing. Like I said, I go to Best Academy, and I heard a lot of feedback from the students. I feel like the board actually heard a lot of things too when they was there. A lot of students have actually voiced their opinion and were not afraid to step out of that zone or tell the board that things that were wrong. So the fact that they were able to be honest and true, I feel like their voices were heard.
And then last note on the voices being heard, I think we did a really good job this year as SAC as bringing other people in who just weren't SGA president or on SAC, so we could get really the true voices of everyone at our school. So I think that's why we got such a high satisfaction rate this year, which is such a great thing to have. We have our fifth question. Do you think this was diverse as a student body at the school? We had 127 people answer, and we're at a 92% satisfaction rate. So once again, just another hand of applause for that great stat right there. Obviously, it would be great to get to that to 100%, but once again, that's something that we can't always gauge. But it's really, really nice to have such a high number of people agreeing that this truly was a diverse spectrum of kids from the school being able to bring all their experiences in for this great conversation with our board.
And once again, like he said, another round of applause, because we actually got another 100% of people actually did enjoy the conversations that were going on. People enjoyed the diversity, so that was another point.
So then length is our next question for Q7. We have that about 60% saying it was the right length, with a little bit on too short, and then some people saying much too short. We would like to say there are some days I know the board did have things going in that did cause them to have to back out a little bit. Obviously, some students might not have been able to get their exact question asked, but that is something that we are happy with, a pretty high satisfaction rate for the time. Obviously, there was going to be a little bit of variance in that, but once again, we're happy to have the majority of the people saying it was just the right amount of time to get the overall questions of the school heard and the conversations had between the board and the students.
I think lastly, will you attend the event again? I believe a lot of students, I think it's in the 100% will attend the event again, because their voices were heard. They don't get this opportunity every day for their voices to be heard, especially the students who are not leaders or SGA president or involved. So the fact that their voices were heard, and also they had good breakfast with, they would attend again.
Thank you, and just one last round of applause for our great Breakfast of the Board this year.
So we have a slight intermission. This is something new that we're doing this year, where the SAC we're presenting as a group, and a special award. So, ladies and gentlemen, SAC members, esteemed colleagues, and honored guests, today we come together to recognize two exceptional individuals whose contributions have truly elevated student experience within our educational community. It is with great pleasure that we present the special MVP award to Dr. Al Pacino Hogue and Keisha Copeland, who could not be here today. So first, let us acknowledge Dr. Chino, whose unwavering dedication and tireless advocacy have left an indelible mark on our educational landscape. From spearheading the inception and drafting of the Student Bill of Rights to actively engaging with students at every turn, Dr. Hogue has exemplified what it means to be a true advocate for student voice. His commitment to fostering dialogue and championing initiatives such as the pilot program for student strengths has inspired countless individuals and transformed our community. Alongside Dr. Hogue, we celebrate Keisha Copeland, whose steadfast commitment to student engagement and family involvement has had a profound impact on our district. Keisha's presence at multiple Breakfast with the Board events and her active engagement in listening to student voices have facilitated meaningful change within our educational system. Her team's dedication to including students in the family engagement initiatives, as well as their partnership with the Student Advisory Council, has strengthened the bond between our schools and our community. SAC's inclusion in the Family Engagement Conference underscores Keisha's commitment to amplifying student voices and fostering collaboration. Today, we honor Dr. Al Pacino Hogue and Keisha Copeland for their outstanding leadership, unwavering dedication, and profound impact on the SAC. Please join us in congratulating them. On behalf of Keisha Copeland.
I'll be Keisha.
Okay, thank you so much. Congratulations. Oh.
No, one more. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
This is, again, some of the great highlights. Some of the pictures, just to capture, one picture says 1,000 words, so that says a lot about us. But Peyton is going to, as we start our recommendation session, she's going to explain some of the rules so we can all be on the same page when we're coming up here and recommending.
Hey y'all, again. So firstly, when we are giving feedback, make sure you give and receive feedback. Secondly, know that we all have shared accountability in this together. We are all APS. Be authentic and listen with an open mind. Set goals with realistic outcomes. Don't just come with problems, also come with their solutions. Approach everything with optimism. And collaborate and create a trusting relationship within you guys' ad hoc committees when y'all have y'all 20 minutes to just discuss among each other. So is anything missing from this list you guys feel like? Nope. All right, we're gonna move on.
So our first recommendations is going to be coming from the schools committee.
Good evening, and like she just said, we're the schools committee. So my name is Kyla Sewell once again, and I resonate the most with the concerns about school culture.
Hi again. My name is Peyton again. I resonate the most with the teacher aspect of schools.
My name is Zachariah Arster, and I resonate most with the advocacy for the voice of the students.
My name is Madison Walker, and I advocate the most with the connecting middle school students with high school students. Oh, our first recommendation is to implement a student bill of rights throughout the APS district because we want to make a positive and inclusive environment for all students because when students are empowered, they are effective.
The second recommendation we have on our list is the implementation of hosting student fairs. This can be for clubs, sports, extracurricular activities within the school. The reason we want this, as you can see, our tagline is school culture is everything. There's no way to have school culture if students aren't aware of these things that are going on within their schools. How do you expect school students to have school spirit, have strong school culture, if students aren't aware when their clubs are, what clubs exist, what sports exist, when it's time to join these sports, when it's time they can apply for these different extracurricular activities. There's a giant gap in communication between teachers, administration, and students, and we want to close this gap and make it so there's a greater, to bridge this gap so students are able to be aware of these different extracurriculars so we can have a better school culture.
Next will be implementing student voice within our hiring processes, i.e. mock trials. For personal experience, when I went to KIPP, they did have a mock trial for a new teacher that they hired the next year. So with including student voice in our hiring process and leadership decisions, this allows students to feel more connected with the leadership before they even get there. And also from an admin's perspective, admin might feel comfortable with this person, but students might not. And having that voice to tell you, hey, I don't think he would be good in classroom, he or she, when we have that type of insight on a new hire before they even get into school, we avoid a lot of problems within the school. And this also helps with school culture and keeping it positive instead of feeling like, oh, I don't want to go to this class because this teacher is just not it.
Okay, our next recommendation is encouraging SGA advisors to actually apply for the jobs instead of being appointed the jobs and volunteered because being in the school system, period, you have to have a passion for it, and being asked to be over a group of students outside of what you're hired for, it takes a lot of passion and commitment, and I think that is very important, and it not only helps the students, but it helps, with the teachers even being over the groups, so that's something that I think is really important personally as an SGA member, so yeah.
Our next recommendation is to create a bridge program between middle school students and high school students because I think a lot of students are not aware of all of the opportunities they are given, and one day just simply isn't enough to let them get acclimated to high school life. And again, that ties in with school culture because the more you're informed, the more empowered you will feel and the more effective your learning experience will be.
And come to our final recommendation on our list. Firstly, I want to see, with a round of hands, who here has heard of Rate My Professor? A good chunk of people. So our last recommendation is implementation of an anonymous feedback system for students to give about teachers, similar to Rate My Professor in a way. This is important because for upcoming freshmen, upcoming juniors, upcoming seniors, upcoming seniors, it's important for these students to know about their different teachers, the different curriculum, the way this teacher functions, the way they grade, etc. And we also have platforms like See Something, Say Something, which are good for sexual assault, bullying. But if it's more minor things about the way a teacher teaches, the way minor criticisms, you can't quite use See Something, Say Something for that. And maybe a student doesn't feel comfortable going to their principal, going to an administrator to speak about these issues. So it's important to have an anonymous feedback system for the students to actually get their points across. Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you for this presentation. So one of my questions is around the Student Bill of Rights. And can we see that? And will that be presented? And thank you for that work, because I know you guys worked really hard on that, but I would like to know the Bill of Rights so we can stand up for those as well.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a working draft. We had Damar was on the committee and Liam GN was on the committee to help draft it. I'm not going to pull it up right now, but yes, right now is in the process of going through a policy scan with Erica Long.
Sweet, I can't wait.
Thank y'all for these recommendations. While you were discussing them, were you able to identify any schools that currently do any of these really well that we could maybe use as models district-wide?
I know with the recommendation hosting student engagement fairs, Washington has a STEM fair every year. Also with the bridging program, Washington also has a summer bridging program. I know KIPP has a bridging program, most definitely. So definitely looking at our charter schools too as examples because they are part of APS. And I think those are the only two that I can say we see in some schools and not in all schools. So.
Good questions.
I know at my school, I attend Thorough. We do a yearly light tour for our feeder school bunch, and they're able to come to Thorough. They're able to watch the band perform. They're able to talk to their actual AP, the 9th grade principal, and the principal of Thorough. And there's also a segment after they tour the school where they're able to come into the gym, and there are tables set up with each like club and sports team, and they're able to talk to members and captains of the team so that they know what's available to them before they get to school. They decide to come to Thorough.
Good job.
Thank y'all. Good job, good job, good job. Good job, Madison.
You're right, okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamara Eccles. Again, I am the Academics Committee Chair, and our slogan is making education fun and relevant. So I will hand it off to Brooke Brooke and Luke, so they can introduce the first set of recommendations.
So a main goal as academics this year is, of course, we understand the importance of AP, but we sometimes feel like it's overshadowed from regular curriculum. We always want to talk about the problems with AP, but we don't talk about the problems that regular students see. So we really want to bring that out and make sure those students are represented as well in our schools. So a big thing was to diversify the curriculum. A lot of students were saying, hey, when we went to the kit break for the board, we don't have a JROTC. I don't want to go to college. What can I do? That's not something for me. I'm done with school. The diploma was all I needed. What can I do after school? That is something that we really want students to say, hey, I know that this might not be the path for me, but I know my school offers something else for me to have for me to go to school. Another thing which was really important was credit recovery. Students were saying, I failed the class and now I'm just gonna pass. They're so easy, I haven't learned anything, I'm just gonna Google everything, I'm done, I'm gonna graduate with my diploma. It was a lot of people saying that I'm not really learning, I'm just taking the course to pass the course, which is not gonna prepare you for life after high school. How can you really learn when you're just looking at a computer screen?
And so for our third point, we have determining proper coursework for the specific students. Once again, at Breakfast on the Board, we had a lot of students say across all the different schools within APS, hey, I'm an IB school. Hey, we offer AP, but I felt pressured to do AP, or I felt pressured to do one of the programs in IB, but I would have been better off fit in the ACCA esthetician process because that's what I want to do with my life. But now I might not have performed as well in IB or AP, and I'm kind of stuck in a position that's not very comfortable for me and is conflicting with a lot of my stuff, or just making it really hard to gain credit in another institution. So our main suggestion there was obviously our counselors, especially like I go to North Atlanta, we have one counselor in our grade, we have 800 kids. It's very hard for the counselor to sit down and explain the requirements of AP or IB specifically to a certain students, and it was more providing an overall approach and different pathways you can take with every different one to diversify those programs and help explain it to all the different students within APS.
And then before we pass it off to Tamara, we also just wanted to improve test prep familiarity. So, excuse me, I don't know how to say that word, but being able to just, a lot of students are just taking the test. You know, a test, although we are taking tests, we know they're required. How can we be more familiar with them? Because we know we have to take them. We know the state is mandatory from the state. So how can it become something that I'm not just, oh, I don't feel like getting up today, we got to take this test. How can it be like, okay, I'm ready for the test, I'm ready for the test, I'm ready for the test. Making students more familiar with the test and making something that they just dread, something that is not dreadful for them.
And then going to our second set of recommendations. So I'm going to combine the first two, which is increase external learning opportunities and apprenticeships and internship opportunities for all pathways. So you have certain schools who don't have what North Atlanta has or what Thurl has or what KIPP has. I know for Mays, we only have technology, healthcare, and engineering, but you have Thurl who has they have a cooking class, they have a cooking pathway. They have a cooking pathway, they have first responders pathway, and we just want to make sure that you guys are extending it to all schools and not just certain schools, because every kid deserves that opportunity. That third bullet point is mental health. A lot of students do not know about Hazel Health, and I know that is something that throughout this school year we talked about a lot. How to keep I know that. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so a lot of kids don't know about the mental health services in school, period. Whether or not Hazel Health is leaving, we don't have the resources. We don't have the resources. The kids don't know about the resources, and it's not good, because then you guys are looking at our data and you're asking, why aren't these kids going to class? Why aren't their parents sending them to school? These kids are actually going through mental health struggles. And I know with Hazel Health, it was like, you're only going to keep them, the therapists are only going to be able to service them for a couple weeks or a couple months, but mental health never stops. So we just want to make sure that we're prioritizing our students' health, mental health, because that's most important when you want them to succeed in school and beyond school. And then the last bullet point is incorporating home ec, sex education, financial literacy, and driving ed classes. I know for my school we have driver's ed, but and we also have financial literacy as well, but you don't have students taking it more seriously. We graduate high school and a lot of kids don't know about safe sex practices, don't know how to drive, don't know how to manage their money, don't know how to cook. Your parents should be teaching you how to cook, but then there are parents at home who can't do that. So you have to make sure that we want to bring those back, because I know my mom, she had that when she was in school, but now I don't have it. And it was something I actually looked forward to. And it was a disappointment that I learned that it was taken out of school. So the recommendation is just to bring that back, because we need those simple life skills. And that is our recommendation.
Any questions?
Any questions?
So I know you just made the comment in terms of Hazel Health. Is that something that you all as students feel that is something that you all need or could use?
Yes, so I want to say, did y'all want to say something?
Yeah, let me go.
Well, let you go.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, so I know for me, I didn't use Hazel Health, but I do want to point this out that there was a therapist at my school that I learned about. We were at a basketball game, and I was like, I'm so stressed. And she was like, come see me. And I went to see her, and she doesn't work at my school anymore. She left last year, but me and her are still in contact today. So that's what I mean by mental health never stops. She helps me throughout everything. We had sessions every week. We met in the beginning of the week and at the end of the week. And she asked me, how was this week for you? How do you feel about this week? And it allowed me, like, Hazel Health, even though I didn't use it, it'll be very beneficial to other students.
Well, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with Tamara, which is why I wanted to go first. I just personally feel you should not need an outside source to feel good in school. You should be able to go to school because people at school make you feel it. I shouldn't have to ask somebody else to come in the building and make me feel better. I should have to feel that way because the staff is already here. Not saying it's that person's responsibility to make me feel better, but school should be so welcoming already that I shouldn't have to have somebody else telling me to be better. That's just how I feel.
And then that just goes back to teachers not actually loving what they do.
Talk about that forever though.
As y'all can see how our meetings are on a monthly basis. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and
Sorry.
then.
I just have last thing while we're on Hazel Health. I think for me personally, I didn't know it was necessarily available to me in school, and I do understand where Brooke is coming from in terms of school itself shouldn't make you feel like you need a mental health advisor. School shouldn't be stressing you out so bad where you should be missing school. But unfortunately for some of our students, if you have a pre-existing condition or you develop that, because we are teenagers, our bodies are developing physically and emotionally, that might happen. So I think it's a great resource to have. I just don't know necessarily where it falls in terms of if we are going to have an in-person therapist or if it's going to be online. But I could see how it's beneficial, but we have to find the middle ground of, is it because the school is stressing us out, or is this a thing we could, if possibly in our budget, if available, offer our students through APS?
Yeah, and just thank you for that specific feedback, because that's what we heard during a lot of the breakfasts with the board, and that the district, we've asked the district to really look at what is working, like what do students need in terms of mental health resources and what is accessible. So telehealth can absolutely be a part of it, but also there are other ways to make sure, like you're saying, that you could stay in touch with someone regularly that also doesn't necessarily require consent, which can be hard to get, which has been a barrier, unfortunately, with Hazel Health. So we need to keep pushing. So y'all be as specific as possible and encourage your peers to be as well. And thank you for the specifics around sex education and life skills. Keep that coming, because we'll be asking for feedback on what we're doing to build that into curriculum, starting, I think, as early as middle school. And to piggyback on what, well, and y'all are talking about just like when you think reaching students early on so they know the opportunities available in high school. Feedback around what you think will get students' attention to go to those fairs, to know in advance. So the more y'all can share around that space too, would be extremely helpful. Y'all have done an incredible job. So it just gets more and more specific every year. So thank you all.
Well, I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but I will have to pass that to Madison, who is our school cultures committee, which she will talk about more of that. To be honest, that's not our field.
Good afternoon. Great job, students. But I just want to piggyback off what board members stated in regards to how can we better inform students around the service. If not Hazel Health, just any kind of mental health service. Because as a member of the student services team, Hazel Health came out of our team. And so I know we did a lot around trying to promote it, but our usage wasn't what we wanted it to be. So how can we, I guess, better engage students so that they are aware that this is available to them? Because we did a lot of push around Hazel Health, but we just didn't see the usage. So how can we as a community, as a team, as a department, better get the word out that this is a resource that is available to you?
I think, oh yeah, the APS update page, using social media. Kyla, what did you say? The app, what app? The app. Okay.
Okay, so we had this idea earlier.
She was answering the question. Oh, they ain't came up here yet. Okay, okay. I'm gonna, to be continued. I'm gonna answer, but I'm gonna use Tanaya and Kyla. So there's an app, and then the APS update page. The Google Forms, guys, are long and lengthy, and I'm so quick to close my phone when I'm walking in the hallways doing it, because it's just like I'm reading and I'm not, and then I'm sorry, it's not. And then I'll say, like, you know, you can send out flyers, you can send out emails, make sure there's on the announcements, yeah. Students are really hard, and this was like, I think this is something that we talked about in one of our meetings too, like, Yeah, we've definitely brainstormed and we're going to brainstorm, but we have tried also as well, like trying to figure out what students want and would like to see, but it's kind of hard. And I would just say like, let's exit out Google Forms and like try to just do like the word of mouth things. A lot of teachers like to, at the end of the class, hey guys, make sure you do this, or we have this downstairs. Set up tables when there's open house, or when you guys come, hey, stop a student, do you know about this? Tell the SGA advisor. Like, I feel like there's a lot of need for you guys to just start coming back in, and I know you guys are busy, but making you guys coming back in and like being more present, it just helps a lot. Sometimes we just gotta kind of move away from social media a little bit and be like, y'all, we're here. Go ahead.
I know we have to move on to the next committee, but I would just say, similar to what she just said, a combination of social media and person. I know it was hard because, to my knowledge, Hazel Health, didn't that come middle of the school, like after August, or was it starting in August? Because, it's been, okay. So just moving off that, I think having people at open house will reach some people. And I know, especially at my school, we have flyers on every floor. No one's really going to stop and read a flyer all the time. It might reach somebody, but I just genuinely think maybe make something that can be posted on Instagram, sent out wherever, but also print it as a flyer and put up through the school. Something that will just save your guys time, but also be able to go out as much as possible, because kids, we can see it 5 times and it might not even register that it's there. And if we do move to something that's more in person, maybe during orientation or during open houses or something where like we have a lot of like things like that where people are speaking, maybe have them introduce it or have it be like face to face, because word of mouth is usually the best way to get things spread.
So I have one more question around this mental health area. So we talked a lot about Hazel Health and virtual, but we also have relationships with Chris 180. So I'm curious if there's any feedback around the services that they provide. I believe that is more in-house, in person. I don't know if that's the younger folks versus the older folks, but if there's any feedback for that service.
I'm going to judge by my fellow but we don't know what that means, so we can't answer that.
So
but
it's an organization that provides in-house services. My understanding that it may be with the younger folks. So I'm gonna have to tap into administration maybe to shed some light on that. But it's not virtual. They're real people, and they have real spaces that you can come to.
Okay, I just want to say one more thing because we do have to leave. But we said a lot of grows, and I do want to say a glow because it is 52,000 students in APS, and somebody knows. So you're doing a great job, for real, because it's a lot of kids to tell. So at least 28 of us know, okay?
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so thank you, Board Member Baldwin, and thank you, students. Great job. So just in response around mental health, yes, Chris 180 is one of our mental health providers. So every single school and cluster in Atlanta Public Schools has a mental health provider that's in person. So it might be Family Ties, it might be Chris 180 for the Washington cluster. Each cluster selects which provider that we have an agreement with Atlanta Public Schools. And so if you're in your buildings, you should have access to one of those providers. And so again, Washington Cluster has Chris 180. So if a student is having some issues or some trouble for mental health, they can go to Hazel Health, which is the online version for physical health and mental health. And they also can tap into that mental health provider. But also remember that the board so graciously funded for every single school a social worker. So that is in every single school to support mental health supports, and every school has counselors. And so we've tried to do this whole child wraparound support piece. So we're looking to see, we'll tap more into what experiences you're having with our mental health providers that are in person, because those are the people that you should be able to go to immediately. But before you go to external, you again have social workers, counselors, and mental health providers, SEL coaches in schools that you should be able to tap in, so that we've layered support for you with support from the board.
We do have communications on top of communicating this out.
Really quickly, last Friday, we sent out the APS Now newsletter that has information about Mental Health Awareness Month, which is May. So it is in there. And we added student email addresses after I met with you all last October. So you all should be receiving those. And I hope you're opening them and reading them. But I have more about the app and social media when this team talks. I don't want to steal their thunder, so I'll come back after that. But make sure you're opening those newsletters because the information is in there as well, and then I'll come back again later.
Hello, everyone. Operations. And although we aren't extremely flashy, we keep things operating.
Hi, I'm Liam Smith, and I have the first recommendation here today. So, a lot of students have reported essentially seeing contraband getting through and prohibited items getting through security lines, in addition to a general overall feeling that the security lines at schools and security checking systems, the x-rays, aren't very effective. A potential solution to improve the effectivity of these security checking systems is through white hat testing. Essentially, white hat testing is sort of a coding originating thing, but it's essentially where you run a simulated contraband getting through, or where you run a situation in which simulated contraband attempts to get through the security line, and if the contraband is able to get through the security line, then additional training or work on that security line is needed. Otherwise, you know that that security process is effective at actually preventing contraband from entering the school. It's a no-cost solution and also highly effective as far as testing security procedures. Thank you.
Our second recommendation comes from our nutrition. A lot of our students are stating that they're not getting big enough portions at lunch and for breakfast. A lot of our students come early because, at least at my school, we have the zero period where it starts at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and then it goes until advisory. And then, of course, we all have a lot of clubs, and sometimes those clubs don't end until like almost 7 o'clock, so you don't really get home until 8, maybe even 9. And having a breakfast that is one Pop-Tart, because there's never two Pop-Tarts inside the little packet, a juice that's like this big, and then for lunch, like 4 nuggets, isn't really enough to help sustain these growing children. And so we would greatly appreciate if the portions that we were served were increased. Thank you.
All right. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, even. Okay. Our third recommendation is, of course, the solutions to mass overcrowding, right? So at schools, of course, you see, especially at bigger schools, some like Mays and North Atlanta, there are high amounts of students in certain classes, which makes it very strainful on the teachers because they have to teach to an extreme amount of students, and very strainful on the students because it's harder for them to learn in a class with a teacher they can't connect with. Ooh, right. I think that pretty much sums it up, but I want to make sure I emphasize also that it's not just the people in the classroom, but also the classroom sizes. I know at Carver, our classrooms aren't too big, which kind of limits the teachers' freedom to do what they would like with the classroom sizes, with the classroom and the students, right? They can't make this, right? Everyone's pretty confined and stuck to each other. Thank you.
And then our fourth recommendation as a subcommittee is to actually improve the communication of operations initiatives. Because the truth is that most of the problems related to operation are currently being solved throughout the district. Take, for instance, our bus system and our transportation division. Students have reported not getting buses when they were ordered, but that's due to a lack of personnel. Our transportation division in recent times has actually worked on getting a bus notification system, an app, available to students to students and administrators and anyone else who has a stake within the transportation at a certain point in time to be informed about the status of their current transportation. But this current time, not a lot of that is communicated. The same is true with a lot of other operations initiatives. Take, for example, also nutrition. Right now, not a lot of students do know that the nutrition is actively going to change within the next year, and not going to know, or do not know that it's going to change and completely restructure. Thank you.
Good afternoon again, Kevin Scott Jr. from Best Academy. The last recommendation that we have is updated facilities like classrooms, buildings, parking spaces, because a lot of teenagers and high schoolers that are juniors and seniors have cars, not just normal cars like BMWs and Teslas, and so a lot of high schools need more parking spaces so that the teachers and also the students will be able to park their nice, lovely cars, and probably even adding some. I know Teslas have. Yeah, you know what I mean. And also also because I know at Best and CSK sometimes the elevators don't work, so it's like 4 flights of stairs. So just updating the elevators, getting them fixed, and probably having some new color of paints for schools like Washington and schools that have been open for a long time. Just a fresh remodel so that people could be proud about their school and look. I know Kip has a lot of Kip and Best. I know Kip Best at CSK has a lot of renovating. And yeah.
I'm sorry, and I know the previous committee also, they did a glow, so I want to try to do one also, right? So I want to, because I'm pretty sure we're over security also, so I want to specify and highlight the police over at our schools, right? I think they're doing a really good job of trying to connect with, I think they're doing a really good job of trying to connect with our students so that certain things aren't as hard as it would be. All right, thank you. Questions? Oh, yes, if you have any questions, please speak now.
Or concerns or comments or unrelated allusions to Belgian techno anthem Pump Jam.
All right. Thank you then. We appreciate you. All right.
Thank you.
Hello. We are budget and performance. Show us the money. All right. Hello. My name is Rudy Ramos. Again, I am the committee chair for our lovely budget and performance committee. So we want to start off with Kennedy explaining a little bit about what we want to see the money within APS being used. Our committee does feed into a lot of what we already have. So we know that a lot of these are already having been talked about, but specifically from a budget perspective, we would like to see a lot of these recommendations happen. So Kennedy?
Okay, our first recommendation is that we should allocate more funds towards school environments, not only inside, but also outside. When I step into someone's property or on someone's space, the first thing I notice is if their grass is mowed and lawn well kept. Do they have flowers? Is it trash outside? Is the building maintained? And then when I step inside, are the walls just white? Do they have a splash of color? Are the floors shiny, clean? Does it smell nice? So I feel like we should improve school environments. That way students feel more welcomed and are willing to come to school and learn.
Thank you. All right, and next up, on the operations side, performance, we would like to talk about technology. So if you are not aware, APS has the ability to restrict sites. Very useful, especially for our younger students. It's very important that the technology that we give them is able to be secure, right? But that can come with a bit of issues when it comes to over-limiting what sites are available, especially to our high school students. A lot of students can't even access sites like YouTube during the school day. Very necessary, especially post-COVID when we're using technology a lot more, and more technology is becoming accessible, especially with AI. So we want to make sure we're adequately limiting and restricting sites while not being too pervasive. So we would like kind of a revamp, more money allocated towards IT, or at least just more consideration for what students are experiencing when it comes to researching and the usage of or lack thereof of restricted sites. All right.
Next recommendation would be to have training for students so they know where to find the See Something, Say Something app. They can't say something if they don't know where to find the app or how to access it.
Well, the next recommendation we have is to increase teacher salaries. So without teachers, I know me personally, I wouldn't know a lot of stuff that I know right now. So we need to increase the teacher salary because they work very hard with us, and in order for them to provide for their families, they need enough money to get paid for what they do. Yeah. What's the next one? Okay, so this is the one that I recommended. So I think we should have more funding provided for fine arts programs, specifically band, chorus, orchestra, things of that sort, because I know at my school, people are paying $400 to participate in programs, and I know me personally, I don't got that. So I would wish there was a way for us to receive more funding towards the program, because me personally, I am very interested. I love all types of fine arts, whether it's dance, singing, playing an instrument. I play multiple instruments. And there's no way that we should be paying as much money to participate in things that we're passionate about. And at school, we need some type of gateway. What if dance is someone's ways to express themselves? You shouldn't be paying money to express yourself. And then to prepare yourself for college endeavors. Say someone is going to college like me. I'm going to college for mass communications and things to participate in fine arts and film production. And in order for me to participate in things in college, I shouldn't be paying for things in high school for me to be prepared for college.
Hi. Okay. My next recommendation is to gain more funding and AP offerings throughout the school district, because there's a lot of schools that have AP courses and schools that don't have certain AP courses that students would like to take, and it'll be a good way to expand their minds if they were offered at more schools. So we want to get more teachers certified to teach AP classes and to increase the funding. And for my next one, it would be to gain funding for travel for our students, because a lot of students don't know about things beyond their street or beyond their school or their home. So if we get more international or domestic traveling within our students, they'll have more opportunities and ways to increase their minds.
All right, and our last recommendation is something that we've been talking a lot about today, and it is to allocate more funding to better increase our communication systems, all right, and make them more efficient. I know that over the summer, we are going to have a huge revamp on the APS website. That is amazing. Thank you so much. That I know will be incredibly useful to tons of families across APS, and it will make a bunch of resources available to them, especially those mental health resources that we were talking about, and other resources that we are sure are extremely useful to all of our students, but they just may not know about because we lack streamlined way to communicate. So some recommendations that we would like to see in action would be to hopefully have better management systems for the social media sites, for the individual school websites, and of course to maintain the updates, to keep them going for the APS district website. That would be something that we would really like to see, just so we can improve in all aspects of APS, in all aspects where students are concerned, which is our top priority. Students should be at the forefront. Students should know what is going on in their schools, in their districts. So communication is extremely important. You cannot overstate how important it is. So we would really like to see some of these happen, but of course we are very grateful for what is being done now in APS. All right. So now we'll take some questions. Yes.
You want to go? I'm sorry. Were you talking? Okay. Hi, my name is Joshua Naji. I was with the 2023 Student Advisory Council, and my question is for Marquavius Clayton. You mentioned that you wanted a gateway for people who are in the fine arts and who needed financial support going into school, going into college specifically. I wanted to ask you, were you specifically asking that seniors are aided in that process, or the entire range of high school, because that would be a lot financially, in my opinion. So I was wondering if that was more like a senior thing, or how did you want to approach that?
He trying to put me on the spot, but so I was talking about everyone in general, relating to what where he at? Luke was saying earlier, North Atlanta, they have 800 plus students in your grade overall. 700, that's a lot.
Wait.
Yeah, in just 12th grade.
grade.
Our school, we only have 30 in the 12th grade class. So I know
That's true.
for us to participate in different things, we need transportation and all that, and instruments and all sorts of things. And the less amount of students you have, the more money you're going to need. I'm not good at math, but I know that makes sense. What was the main part of your question again?
I was just wondering
That
if you
was-
were
okay, yeah.
specifying seniors or not, but that was good. Thank you.
All right, so I think we have a solution to a lot of your problems. On Monday, the board voted to approve our district app. So thank you to the board. Yes, so I spoke to you all in October, and you overwhelmingly said that you wanted to see a district app. So we had one. It went defunct, but we're going to be relaunching it now. So I'm super excited about that. I've been taking notes about what content you want to see. So we'll be sending out some surveys to you all to determine what you want to see on the app. And we'll roll that out coming over the next few months. And we'll be able to see it in the Google Play Store and the App Store again soon. And then we're going to roll it out. So what happens is with that website redesign that Ms. Ramos spoke about that we're launching now, the app will feed from there, and we'll have some additional tiles and things on there for you all. So thank you for the suggestion, and thank you to the board for approving that. So we're on our way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Y'all made that happen. Does anyone give you guys an overview of the budget? I'm the budget chair for the board right now. Did you all get an overview of the budget right now?
No.
We'll
I
change
just know
that.
that some students at our school, I know Kevin is a part of it. They're a part of the Go team, and I know that they are able to review the budget with principals and some parents, and they relate the message to some of our SGA meetings, but that we don't have an exact layout of where all the money is going or how much do we receive. We just know that each school receives a certain amount, depending on what our principal tells you guys that we need for the upcoming year.
And I'm glad y'all put forth what you want to see more of. That's critically important. But I think it'd be cool to give you guys an overview of the realities right now in the system too. And thank you all for serving on Go Team. That's huge. Your voice is so important in that space in high school. So thank you all.
All right. And Lisa, Dr. Bracken did come to one of their meetings and talk to them about the budget and everything too. So she did do that part, but they have not seen the proposed budget just yet. So.
All right, best for last. We are the equity and social justice community. All voices matter.
Okay, I'm Tanaya, and our first recommendation is a previous recommendation from the 2022-2023 SAC, which is single-use restroom within each APS school, not only for staff and students with accessibility needs, but the LGBTQ plus students and non-binary students who may not identify as he or she. And I personally know students who wait until the middle of the class period to use restrooms when they would feel like no one really being there, which caused them to lose out on instructional time. So I feel like this would be very beneficial within high schools, especially.
Okay, so for our next recommendation, this is also a recommendation that has already been presented, so we're reiterating it, and that's sensitivity training for all staff. And so these sensitivity trainings will encompass the LGBTQIA plus community, different religious backgrounds, and ethnical cultures. And I know me being in GSA and working with other clubs and organizations that center around identity, a lot of students don't feel safe and comfortable around teachers simply because those teachers aren't educated on how to interact with them. And these sensitivity trainings will create a supportive environment for our students, and they will give the staff the tools they need to create these affirming spaces that students need, and so that our students can feel safe and welcome. And they will also teach staff how to interact with students.
Hi, I'm Anike. So the next recommendation was better communication for monthly Hispanic meetings. It's so basically meetings are being held, but they're not being widely communicated, and it's excluding families who need it and who could benefit from attending. And it's not one of the issues is not correctly and accurately spreading info about the meetings, so we can improve in that aspect, and also improving our outreach efforts and making sure the meeting reaches a broader audience.
Our next recommendation is to provide schools with guidance calendars to plan events, because most school events like prom or homecoming or sometimes even testing, which people really don't like to do, usually revolve around some religious holidays, and some students aren't able to participate in like prom or homecoming, no big events, because of this.
All right, so admission fees. Now, we all love going to go see South Atlanta put down the beat down on Washington. However, a lot of our students can't go see these hypothetical matchups because of admission fees. Now, we understand the importance of having admission fees in general, more funding towards our sports programs and a lot of our programs that we offer. However, with a lot of our schools coming from low-income backgrounds, all of our students want to go support our teams. So we would like to have a recommendation to determine if these fees, there could be a way to work with our students to accomplish these fees.
And our last recommendation, another recommendation that has been presented previously, is increasing interaction with the Atlanta Board of Education. And our recommendation is to possibly put a student on the board. We know that having the SAC is integral to hearing student voices, and I think we will have a broader reach if you guys had a direct access to a student by having them on the board. And those are all of our recommendations, so if you guys have any questions.
Okay, so for the recording. So around the student on the board, do you have any suggestions or recommendations upon how that student would be selected? Like, would it be the chair of the SAC board? Would you guys have an election? Would it even be related to y'all? What thoughts do you have in regards to how that person is placed in that position?
I personally would like someone to be on the board from the SAC because they have a direct line with us. So we have in monthly meetings, and we also have communicate and have stuff within the communities and within our schools. So I would like to see someone from the SAC within the, on the board.
Y'all shouldn't have laughed.
Careful now.
My suggestion for that is yes, the SAC, but also do another application process. I feel like that's what we do for SAC and for the Georgia Board of Education. They did that. They had a whole application process that you fill out. I mean, you want the best of the best on your board. So I feel like another application process, it may be, dreadful to us, but you want to be, I feel like all those options, just weigh them, like the chair from SAC, one chair from SAC, a student from SAC, and then somebody who has to apply, because this is how SAC does it. They appoint from SGA, and then another student has to apply. So it could be appointed and then an application process.
And who would do the selection? Would that be a selection of the students?
I think, this is louder. Whoa. All right. I think this is a really good idea because I feel like more student voices will be heard more than it is now and more than I think the SAC can reach at this moment. I think that giving Keith or Dr. CT the autonomy to decide who gets to serve on the board is maybe a little powerful completely, but I think that if we're working in tandem with the board, right, working with them and they're looking at these interviews, I know it'll be a lot of more work, right, but if they're looking at these interviews also and maybe from a group of 500 kids, then we have their interview, then it's like, I don't know, 20, 30 left, and then from that, they look at the 30 and decide, hey, okay, I think I can really work with this person significantly and develop a bond with them so that we're working together mutually and making significant change, right? Thank you.
I need to open up that can of worms. I was just curious.
My recommendation, if there is a student on the board, will be a little different because, to be honest, the adult perspective is not going to be the same as my perspective in the classroom. So just because my application might be the best does not mean I'm the best articulator. I could write the best essay, but I can't sit in front of you and talk about it. So it's just really, I really think it should be appointed by us because we want to see who represents us up there. So I think I'm not sure necessarily how, but I think the students should have something to do with it, who's choosing.
So first off, thank you all so much for your input. For those who are meeting me for the first time, my name is Alfred Shivy Brooks, and I am one of the newer board members along with board member Zeph. And I represent a seat 7 at large, so I'm voted on throughout the entire city. As a person who's the first current classroom teacher to ever serve on our school board, I know how important it is to have contemporary voices who are in classrooms now being a part of the decision making, because how I might see things might be very different than some of how other board members might see them. I really, really value, and during my campaign I talked about this a lot, the potential of seeing a student being on the board and what that could mean. You all are the only people in the city of Atlanta who are governed by people you do not vote for. The only, right? So our parents vote for people who represent them in city council, vote for people who represent them in the mayor's office, county commission, the state legislature, the governor's office, the mayor's office, etc. But you all don't get a say. Now, I don't know exactly what that looks like, and I guess my question would be, if we did bring on a student onto the board, is this a person who has voting power as well, right? So there's one question there, because now with 9 board members, you would be talking about 10 potential votes, and so now you talk about the potential of having split votes, right? So there's a question with that. The other question, or I guess my other input is, I thoroughly support students having the autonomy to select who that person is. If you all don't have the opportunity to vote for the other 9 people who have a voice, then I feel like exclusively you all should have the sovereignty to vote on that one student voice on that board.
Okay, so I can answer that. So we're not 100% sure about actually being voted on the board, but our position on the board will actually be like feedback, or you guys just having access to student voices.
And one thing I'd like to add is, as each of our clusters are unique and different in so many ways, perhaps the Student Advisory Council is already the option, and elevating our own SAC chair might be an option there as well, as a sort of generalist for the entire district. As I said before, all of our clusters are so different demographically, academically, and otherwise.
Last comment, Zachariah.
Oh, no.
You good?
If it's the last one. Yeah.
Okay. My response is kind of similar to Brooks, but I think that having like the candidates maybe sit in on like a board meeting or just see how they work with the board would be a good addition to the interviewing process, because I think it's very important to see how the students work with the people that are already in place and seeing if they're able to step to the plate and work around so many adults and still feel like they are able to talk in the space and in the room. So I think that that's something that should definitely be added.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we've kind of had a committee at large conversation, but we still want to give the opportunity for ad hoc committees along with your adult leaders to have the conversations in a smaller setting. We're going to cut the time in half. At your tables, there is a black folder. Each folder has your respective recommendations with a blank space to put notes and questions, and to identify and categorize if it's no cost, low cost, or high cost. What we're gonna ask you to do is to complete that with your group. If you could have one person that's gonna be your scribe, that's going to write legibly, that's gonna submit that one document to Keith and I so we can have that for later reference. And then you're gonna identify, the adult leaders are gonna identify who's that one point of contact, as well as preferred meeting cadence. Do you want us to set up meetings monthly, bi-monthly, or bi-weekly? And then your commitment. So that is the most important part. We want to honor these recommendations and make commitments. So at 7:10, we'll reconvene, and then we'll proceed with the closing of our program.
So depending on the makeup of the school, the single-use restrooms could be high cost, but it could be an entire room that could be converted. But there may be single-use restrooms that exist like for adults that they can just repurpose. So it depends on the school. So that answer is it depends, but it's certainly something that I think is worth, like, it doesn't cost anything to do an analysis of what is a possibility, right? Just a little bit of time. Yes, please. For hallway. I know at KIPP they have some that like technically I don't think adults are supposed to be in the bathroom, kids are in the bathroom. So they have their own, so it's like an adult restroom, but kids could use it. They just gotta go. And if it's a single use, like only one person uses it at the same time, everybody can use it. It's just a matter of making it accessible to students and letting them know that they are welcome. So that sounds like that could be low to no, unless it's just a building that don't have one bathroom. So we would need, I mean, it would really be like, hey, principals, we need you to look, see what is the possibility. Yes, yes. And so y'all know we have SPOS dollars, but they spend ours quickly. But I've heard about the smell of the gravel. So like one of the schools was being it's really old. So hopefully they won't have that problem. Hopefully they won't have that problem. That will have a cost, because someone's gotta come in and do the training. But it's a cost that we should be willing to spend. I think it would be, if it's someone that already exists on staff, like someone like a Gino or someone within, I would say if someone within, the Center for Equity and Social Justice could do it, it would be no cost, it would just be, but if we had to hire someone to do it, there would be a cost, I just don't know how much that costs. But it would be a cost that for me, it doesn't matter. Just like bringing nutrition in-house, we gave them the direction that this is, for us, this is not about doing it the cheapest way. It's cheaper, it's quality, and people want to eat. So sometimes you gotta do all this. I like spending money. Right now, some of their whatever program they use now, weekends, so a lot of times so they use, I will say that depending on what they're training on, the trainers vary. And hopefully, again, someone within equity and social justice already could do that, and we have the platform, so that could be low. But if we wanted to bring in like an amazing person that does this, which because it could also be engaging and impactful, then my guess is thinking about all the people that would be impacted. it would be charged back technically to APS, but we already paid it. Yeah. But I definitely agree that a level of sensitivity and me personally would like to add trauma informed to that. So which includes this community and so many others, because we need our teachers to have a level of sensitivity about why you picking on this kid that you really should be having to stay in class right now. Did you know what they had to go through just to get here? You worried about them not having a pencil? Like,
You have 5 minutes remaining.
low cost and no cost. If we use the app and the vehicles that we have, we just have to do it. We just gotta do it. I believe that's something that we're working on that came out of Breakfast with the Board, which was giving them a calendar so they know when is Ramadan, when is Passover, when are all of these things. So when you're picking prom and all this stuff, you can be more sensitive. So that I believe is already on board. That's a great idea. And I'm on the audit committee. Well, this is a different purpose, right? So initially, if we audited, what we were auditing is the money that you said you collected and what was actually deposited, right? So that's what we're auditing. This is a different viewpoint, which is of the admissions that we're taking in, what percentage of it is students, and if we were to reduce the student cost by half, what would be the impact on? So it's a slightly different impact. It would have a cost because there would be time, someone's time would be involved in it. But having that answer will allow us to say, okay, we can't cut it in half. We can't let students get it free. So something that Kim used to do is if you were a warrior in good standing, then you got into games free. And that was discipline, attendance, and grades. So you could earn interest. Or even having some sort of like reality cap on events, like do we really need to do it at Porsche, whatever. So like some schools decided to do it in their gym because they wanted it to be more accessible. Y'all do the most. Like these promposals and helicopter arrivals, like that's a whole nother level. But definitely with accessibility. I love the approach on that. Like you didn't just say cut the fees, you said let's look and see what is the impact. So there would be a low cost to that. It would be somebody's time. But it's an answer I would love to have. And you do have more support on this last one. There are some legal challenges. I do not think a child and I don't think a child should participate in executive session. But they can certainly be a part of our past board chair. Something that's really big for her. I have sat in on meetings where students were on board, and this one, I'll call her child, but she was almost a grown woman. She did not have voting, but she had a voice, and I believe like the adult for all of the places that she spoke, she changed all the minds. And so even without this vote, your voice is powerful up at that dais. So I support that. And the cost, I would think there would be no cost for that. An election is something that if we did it, it could be done internally. Unlike our elections, which cost like $1 billion. Gonna sit over budget. I think all of these things are smart, strong, and reasonable. So you guys, I don't know if you feel the impact that y'all have made. So I get it. I get it for free from any GHSA game I do, and I'm gonna tell you that my daughter's senior year made a difference because she played every damn sport. And it's like, I was like, could you imagine? I mean, y'all can imagine having a family. I feel like it should be easier for if we want to, right? If we want participating in these things, then it would be ideal to make people assessment. So I think that the trick is understanding how much money our students feeding. So we get this report every month. It's a student activity report, and it's basically that money, and it shows how much money came in and how much money is spent, and usually less is spent than so there may be some flexibility there. There's also different schools that do stuff like Help the Town can charge people for parking to do stuff at Beeline. And so those I'm curious where those funds go. Like we can't tell the school what to do, but all I'm trying to figure out is there a way to replace that? So is there something that can be done? Like now we're gonna charge parents $2 to park when they come to the games, students get it free. Like it.
All right, if we can wrap up our conversations, thank your table, thank your ad hoc committees, thank your neighbor for engaging in the discussion with you. Remember, you are responsible for giving us something based on your discussions before you leave this evening. So I want us to recommit. Sorry, Madam Chair. We don't have to worry about this, but I just want us to think about what we're committing to each other for our soon-to-be alum seniors that are leaving us. What are you committing to, right? We saw some of our alum come back and pay you a visit. What are you committing to for our ABOE, our board? What are you committing to, senior cabinet, and ultimately our superintendent? So just keep that in mind as we move forward to continue on with our meeting. All right, so now it is time to celebrate, folks. Oh, where's my thing? I'm going backwards. Oh, I need that, sorry. I got the wrong side. Thank you. All right, so now's the time that we've all been waiting for as we wrap up our evening. First, you will hear from your lovely advisors. Yay. And then we're going to recognize each of you. And we have one last MVP award that we're going to be giving this evening. So we'll kick it off to Keith for his closing remarks.
But no, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you guys so much for allowing me to serve you guys as advisor, some of you guys for the last 3 years, to just really be in this space. I tell people all the time, this is like the best part of my job. They can have everything else, just give me the kids. You guys keep me young. You guys keep me hopeful, as I know, even younger. But no, just being a product of Atlanta and being a product of Atlanta Public Schools, you guys remind me every single day of why Atlanta Public Schools is special. You guys are brilliant. Y'all, I mean, what you guys did last Friday at the Hewlett Foundation conference, just again, I'm just proud. I'm speechless. And I'm honored and privileged to just serve in this space. And so I've been saying this quote in my head all day long, and y'all gonna be like, Eminem, but yes, Eminem. His song that basically said, you better lose yourself in the moment, in the music. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity come once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself. And so to my graduating seniors, lose yourself. You got one opportunity. You got one shot. As a product of again, I tell y'all my story will be here all day, but as a person who stand here with just so much joy and just appreciation and success of where I've come from, the sky's the limit, y'all. I love y'all. Please come back and see us, stay in touch. And to my returning members, I'll see y'all in a minute.
Well, I'm not gonna be dropping bars like Mr. Glass did, but first of all, I want to thank Mr. Glass, right, for allowing me to be a partner in this work. It has not been a year yet since I've been with Atlanta Public Schools, but I feel like I'm returning as one of the founders of KIPP Atlanta Collegiate High School, being a resident for 24 years in Atlanta, a graduate of Spelman, a graduate of Georgia State, a graduate of Mercer University. I am an ATLian, unofficially. But as we reflect on our accomplishments and in our engagements of the SAC throughout this year, I want to express my immense pride of you. I'm proud of you, of your accomplishments, of your ability to really just put yourselves out there. Don't care what anyone says, but you are standing in your truth and you know that student voice matters. You are making this a reality for the 50K that you represent, not only for your schools, but also for the district at large. And so for that, we thank you, we honor you, we respect you. Don't forget about us, because we're not gonna forget about you. This is the first SAC group that I had the privilege of co-leading along with Mr. Glass, and I think the sky is the limit, right? The city knows about you. Now the United States knows about you because you all spoke so well at the Hewlett Foundation's convening last Friday. And even some worldly people were there. And so from various posts on LinkedIn and social media, folks know about you and they're trying to emulate you. They're asking us how to do what we do here. And so for that, we are grateful and we want to honor you today and forever. So give yourselves a round of applause. So next we're gonna just kind of flash on the screen. This is like our yearbook, y'all. They had to submit a quote and we found some action photos. So Peyton, stand up, stand up, stand up. We wanna shout out Peyton. Peyton has been involved with the SAC since when? 9th grade. Okay, so she's one of our longest standing members, so we celebrate you today. Peyton, Zach, stand up. All right, this is Zach serving. We were right down the street at City Hall, so we're here to serve as well, folks. Next, we want to shout out Madison from Midtown. Thank you, Madison. And we're going to see Madison next year, too. Liam in the house. Liam had to leave. But Liam did some great work along with DeMar with helping us draft the Student Bill of Rights. We can't do a Student Bill of Rights without students. And so they helped us with the verbiage, and that was really, really impactful. Next, we have Iridian. Iridian, I don't know how to roll my R's like how you roll them. I'm going to learn one day. I want to learn, but thank you so much for your dedication. Next, we have, I don't have my glasses, I got to turn around. Malik, he's not here, representing Carver STEAM. This is Malik when we were at the principals meeting. They presented to the principals and got great feedback. The principals want to see them again, so we'll see next year. Next, we have Deja. She's our communications coordinator. She makes sure that roll is accounted for, that our minutes are accounted for, so we can put them in Assembly. All right. Next, we have our seniors.
Class of 2024, make some noise. That's right. We'll see y'all at Georgia Tech very soon, very soon. Our first up is Tanaya Lawrence, Tanaya Mays High School. Please stand, be recognized. Our next up, all the way from Mays High School, is Tamar Eccles. Oh, let me go back real quick, y'all. Let me shout them out. So in the fall, they'll be attending, tonight will be attending Georgia Southern University, majoring in elementary education. So we got a future APS teacher in the making. And tomorrow she'll be going to LSU, majoring in chemistry on a pre-health track. All right. Next up is our very own Brooke Shelton. Thank you so much, our chair holding it down. She'll be going to Huntington College, majoring in sports management. Y'all, she's going to be a NFL coach one day. We're claiming it for her. We're claiming it. Kevin had to leave, but he's going to, the best of the best. The cream of the crop. Going to Morehouse College, majoring in criminal justice with a minor in education. So this is going to be a lot of work, but hey, he's going to make it happen. Next up is Marquavius Clayton, attending Alabama State University, mass communication with a minor in theater. Next up is Herman McGee from Carver Early College. As y'all heard, full ride to Duke University, majored in philosophy. All right, Anike, all the way from Coretta. Right now she's undecided, but hey, we got an English and journalism major, so hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. Next up is Shatera Hightower, Coretta Scott. She'll be attending Valdosta State, majoring in sociology as well. Oh, psychology. My bad. My bad. I couldn't see. All right. So next up is Kyla. That's right. We got a spell house we got some Spellmanites in the building, majoring in health science. All right, next up is Denisha. She'll also be attending Georgia Southern. Star student, We got some star students right here. She'll be majoring in electrical engineering. All right, Miss Valedictorian all the way from Kip Atlanta Collegiate. In the fall, she'll be going to UGA Go Dogs. Majoring in psychology as well. Lim had to leave. But another valedictorian, he'll be attending Columbia University, majoring in mechanical engineering and applied math. I don't know if they're going to have a social life, but hey, they're going to. Next up is Kelsey Allen, going to Norfolk State, majoring in electrical engineering and biomedical engineering as well. Another person giving up her social life, but hey, if she want to do it, let's go for it. DeMar Goodman from the South Atlanta High School. All of this is just you. This is everything about you. American University, political science, senator, mayor, president. That's you. I see it all in your future. I see it. Luke, all the way from North Atlanta. We going to Boston University, International Relations, pre-law. Posse Scholar. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Luke, for everything. And so we would like to move. We have another special MVP awards that we like to do for our divisions. Again, a lot of work that the council do takes a lot of collaboration with different departments and just different team players being players in the sandbox. And so we would like to first give an award to the operations and transportation team, as well as the Diggs team, Jennifer and Rashida. So if you guys can please join us. So you guys do not know, you guys do know, but the Student Advisory Council in all of our schools come from all of our high schools. And so every year we do the symposium. And Mr. Frank was always like, Keith, you want me to send all these buses to all these schools to pick up these kids? And we do the symposium in the month of March, which is moratorium for buses when they're being expected. And so they kind of, go down on field trips, but he's always been there to be a player for us. And so we definitely just wanted to shout out the operations transportation team around that. And Jennifer and Rashida, so they're new to the district, and they jumped right in and went to work, and just always been a lending hand to us for all of our breakfast with the board, or for majority of the breakfast with the board. They've been there to really get this data from what the students are saying, and been able to help us bring all of that information together into one system and report out on it. So we thank y'all so much for everything that you guys do for us. And so, yeah, we'll grab a quick picture.
The quickest. Yeah, the quickest. Make it. Oh my Lord. Okay, we gotta get close. Okay, fine. It's on. Come on. All right. Okay, come on, y'all. Okay, fine. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll make sure transportation gets their award. Thank you so very much. All right, so looking forward, we kind of already talked about the commitment. So what are we going to commit to ourselves? What are we going to commit to our scholars, for our adults? And scholars, what are you going to commit to the district and your peers? So as we look forward, we want to announce our SAC members for 24-25. If you're going to be returning, go ahead and stand up so we can see your faces. We want some consistency, but we have some new faces. And then also, for the first time ever in the 5 years of SAC, we have a representative from Atlanta Classical. So that's going to be great that we can expand our reach, but they have been notified and we're working with them starting right before the school year starts. This is just a quick reminder to scan this QR code. You've probably seen this before, but this was sent in regards to streamlining the LEA improvement plan. So if you have not seen this survey, we are doing them a favor in their absence to post this up for you all to scan it. A lot of you have already seen this already before. That's it, y'all. Thank you, SAC.
Hold on, wait, Brooke, come up. You got to officially adjourn your last meeting as chair.
It's not even on paper, y'all. I know it though. Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second? It was moved by Peyton and properly seconded by Marquavius. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned.
Evening. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for coming. Grab a cookies, and I think there's cornmeal muffin left.